Mark's supposed to be back at camp. Take another look. That's not Mark.
It's not the first time they've encountered other little people, but it seems to be this guy's first time.
Get down.
You're my size. Oh, there's 3 of you. Good.
They should have plenty of time to get acquainted in that net.
They were here. I know they were.
Good thing he has tickets to the Irwin Allen Explosion Express.
There. Now let's see how our friend is doing. Why don't you two sit down here? I'll give you a demonstration.
No, I don't know how they did it. They played some trick and then they kept disappearing all the time.
He talks like he's used to giving them orders. I'm not sure where he got that idea, but that's just the beginning of his surprises.
You know that planet that you come from?
Earth.
That interests me. I wonder if it could be this one.
Hey, that's London.
New York.
He calls it a Space Time Manipulator, or STM.
You mean, time, too?
Mm-hmm. Not only can we manipulate space, but also time.
That'd be, fantastic.
Yeah, but I have to see it to believe it.
Well, I can arrange that, too.
Thorg.
He's a little sheepish. He says, I was just having some fun with him.
Well, we're not really here to have fun, you know. Our assignment was to test the intelligence quotients of the natives. Incidentally, who are those people? They're our size.
I know. They say that they come from another planet. But they're very interesting, you know.
Very interesting, but thoroughly supercilious.
You know, you're just about to demonstrate, this time business on your STM.
Oh, yeah, right. Tell me, what's the most memorable experience you've ever had?
The crash that landed us here.
That's kind of a no-brainer. He takes them back to that flat rock and shows it to them. Steve says, can you zoom in on the LA airport?
Latitude was 34 degrees, 3 minutes, 15 seconds. Longitude, 118 degrees, 14 minutes, 28 seconds.
He understands Earth terms like latitude and longitude and knows what degrees, minutes, and seconds are. They must use the same method on his planet. How utterly remarkable.
Now, let me get this now. Then you're saying that if I use that STM with that setting, that I could go back to Los Angeles at a particular time?
Absolutely.
Do you mind if I get a closer look?
Nobody except members of our research team can touch an STM.
Fair enough, rules are rules. Steve says we need to be getting back to our camp.
Say, would you mind if Berna and I followed you back to your camp?
No, but you see, it's forbidden for anyone but our team to go to our camp.
You have your rules, they have theirs. He's respecting yours, time for you to respect his. As if. They're the kind of people who don't think they have to respect anybody else because they're superior. We heard Berna say they came here to study the intelligence quotient of the inhabitants, which means they expect the locals to be a lot less intelligent than they are, maybe just above gorillas. It's clear they think the same thing about any humanoids who aren't them. They're better than everyone else because they know how to build an STM. Our crew built a thermal tool that can cut through almost anything. Suppose we have Thorg sit on it and we can demonstrate. He'll be all right, don't worry. The dog was just holding him, not biting him. It's not hard to teach a dog to have a soft mouth like that. But as we saw, now Steve has the fancy gadget.
Look. What are you going to do with that? Come on.
Don't try to move yet.
Oh, I'll be all right. Where's my STM?
Thorg recovers and they realize there's only one thing that could have happened to his STM. Using Berna's, they returned to their own world and reported that the dog ate his assignment.
If this thing is still set for L.A. 2 years ago, and if I can activate it, we're going back. Back to Earth? Let's go get the others. It's now or never.
That's right. If you're going to do something, you need to do it before Batgirl catches up with you. It's not hard to tell that Yvonne Craig was a seasoned ballet dancer because every move she makes looks choreographed, even when she's just walking from point A to point B. In fact, as a young woman, she came to Los Angeles hoping to join a dance troupe. Instead, she found herself acting, and somewhere along the way, she even dated Elvis. That got her some small roles in a couple of his movies and helped get her noticed. She had a decent acting career, but a few years after Batman, jobs started getting a little scarce. She quit acting and went into real estate. Satan's Creation took her in 2015. She once said that she had girls come up to her and tell her how much Batgirl meant to them as a symbol of women's strength and independence. She basically said, "That's how they know me? I'll take it."
Yeah, all right, but don't you see, if we don't take that flight out, there would have never been a crash, and the others would have never been stranded on this planet.
Somehow, it just doesn't seem right.
Well, it's our only chance.
So was the time travel pod. So was that machine the other guy built. I think they've had at least 35 only chances or last chances or something similar. By now you'd think one of them would stick.
Drop it.
You better do as he says.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said drop it. I thought you said push the button. Thing is, Berna and Thorg can follow them wherever and whenever they go. And they will. The rest of the episode takes place at LAX 2 years earlier.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, Captain Burton. I'm Betty Hamilton, your chief stewardess on this flight. I see we're down for 612 today on the call sheet. So, see you later, huh?
Awkward. Now, here's the thing about this kind of time travel. They've been through stuff that no other human ever has. That changes you. Steve will start trying to talk and such based on what they already know, and the people around them will stare at him like he has two heads.
Say, miss,
Yes, sir.
could you tell me, is the 612 going to leave on time?
He didn't expect them to do that. I don't know why, but he didn't. Listening to their dialogue, he surmises that they just want the STM. So give it to him.
Captain Burton, what the devil do you think you're doing?
Call security.
What?
Call security. Get these people out of the VIP room.
That's Miss Collier. She basically runs the place. She's played by Sheila Matthews. 5 years after this, Ms. Matthews would change her name and become Mrs. Irwin Allen. It's not like they hadn't spent some time together. She was on Lost in Space multiple times. This is her second appearance here. And she was in an episode of Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. And it all happened before they married, so nobody can accuse them of nepotism or whatever it's called when it's your spouse. She went on to have a productive acting career until Irwin died in 1991. After that, she moved out of the spotlight and did some producing, as well as continuing to run Irwin's production company. She finally joined him on the other side in 2013 at the age of 84.
Cancel flight 612.
What did you say?
Flight 612 is never going to make it to London.
Have you two been drinking?
Of course not.
A bomb threat, that's it, isn't it? Oh, that's all I need. First the flu epidemic, and now this bomb threat.
It's no bomb threat.
Look, Collier, you've got to take our word for it.
Flight 612 is never going to reach London.
They can't explain how they know or anything else, so she logically assumes they're drunk or crazy. She doesn't have time for either one.
Miss Conley, if we tell you why, you're not going to believe us. So, let's just get to the bottom line. We're not going to take out the flight.
They even sign an official form refusing to obey orders. And we heard Ms. Collier mention a flu epidemic, so she can't find replacement pilots. Looks like they did it. A security guard chased Thorg and Berna out of the VIP lounge, so they should be clear to go on about their business, whatever that may be.
Coming back. Here goes.
As I said, these two have no respect for anyone else or anyone else's boundaries or rules. They're superior. They don't need no stinking manners. You know, if we listened to American science fiction, we would do well to forget space and stay right here on our own planet. Because everybody out there is a pompous jerk. What are the kabooms supposed to do to them? We don't know. Back on the giant planet, when Barry suddenly found himself holding that truck's hood ornament, nobody had an explanation for that either. I don't get it. Why is he doing that? What's he trying to accomplish? What's the end game? I repeat, what was the goal? Suppose he does knock him out and take his STM again. Then what? What does he figure to do with it?
I'll take that. Okay, let's go.
Go where? And here's another question. What about their selves from this time? Is there potential to meet themselves, or did they do a Sam Beckett and leap into their former selves? That also was never explained. Thorg says, we're sending you back where you came from. Dan says, this is our home planet, just leave us here.
Because that's not our primary concern. We are to do nothing and to let no one else do anything to change the past while traveling through time.
You see, if something like that were to happen, it could cause untold damage to the entire universe.
There's just one problem. His widget isn't working.
I should have remembered we can't send them back like this. They have to go back in the plane and crash the way it originally happened.
Let's go.
They have no intention of doing that, and Thorg can't make them. He's not allowed to kill them. He can't do much of anything. Except maybe that. We had no idea the STM could do such a thing, but it falls under the category of only Mike can save us now. And here's a question. If they can change sizes with that thing, why didn't they make themselves the same size as the giants when they came to town?
Either you agree to take the flight, or else you're going to remain that size the rest of your lives.
Which means they still don't take the flight, which means you still failed. And by the way, they know how to live and survive at this size. They've had 2 years of practice.
We'll take our chances.
You're out of your minds.
That may be. At least the others will be safe.
Look, I'm going to make you change your minds.
Somebody's coming.
Is something wrong?
No, we just lost a contact lens here, and I'm trying to find it.
They also lost Steve and Dan, who melted into the underbrush while those two were distracted.
They're gone.
You expected them to just stand around and wait for you to keep bullying them? They may have advanced technology, but they are not too bright.
Try yours. I'm not getting any kind of a reading.
Neither am I.
It must be because of their size.
He made them small enough that their instruments can't detect them. As I said, not too bright. You see it happen a lot with these supposedly superior civilizations that look down on others. They don't factor in the possibility that these inferiors aren't quite as inferior as they assumed, and they end up screwing themselves like he did.
There they are.
Don't try and run for it. You don't have a chance.
In educated American English, we call that false bravado. In colloquial English, we call it blowing smoke up their butts. Whatever you call it, it's nothing but empty talk. As usual, he'll try to poke them with a stick. His efforts help to move a couple of rocks and make room for them to get past that clog. Thorg doesn't have a great track record of success so far. There's only one thing to do. I'm not sure that was it, but it's what he came up with.
Oh, come on.
No. We lost him.
He really is bad at this. They know they're in big trouble back home if they don't find them, and they're in even bigger trouble if the flight doesn't leave on time.
Now, you know that the airline can get any 2 pilots to take that plane out. So about the only thing that we'll be able to do is to go and watch the passengers and make sure that they board that flight.
That puts a very different spin on things. Steve and Dan realize they have to do something to make sure the flight never leaves at all. That should be easy enough. Sneak on the plane and break something. But first, they should go visit Miss Collier while they're this size and show her that they have a legitimate reason for not taking the flight. They can't reach the controls. We watch the passengers arrive. Mark and Fitz, you are both arrogant and demanding and all the rest. Miss Scott isn't cajoling and threatening to get Betty fired like the others are. She has a secretary to do that, and she's doing her job well. Everybody is coming down on poor stewardess Betty as if she can do anything.
May I have your attention, please? I have good news. We've located a pilot and co-pilot on the Calcutta run. Your flight will be delayed no more than half an hour.
That's better than no flight at all.
Oh, I'm so glad. It'll give Miss Scott more time to get here.
Miss Scott is too good to wait in a VIP lounge like some commoner. It's amazing to go back and see what these people were like before they had to learn to depend on each other.
Well, my little friends, led us quite a merry chase, didn't you? Very proud of yourselves, aren't you?
As quick as they're full size again, I want Steve to wipe that arrogant grin off his face. This guy makes me quite angry. He needs to restore them to normal size. Now we learn that his STM can also freeze time around them. Of course it can.
Okay, Thorg. Let's get on with it.
We got a little problem with that, too. You see, our STMs won't work on you anymore.
We think your small size makes it difficult to concentrate power.
Well, if you can't get us back to our regular size, well, then the passes change and you fail.
Lucky for them, the convenience fairy visited Thorg last night and left him some pills that should restore them to normal.
What are they?
You just take them and see.
No. After what we've seen, I wouldn't trust him to give me a glass of water if I watched him fill it from the tap. He's already proven he has no ethics. A little less baking powder next time, dude. Irwin did love his explosions.
They worked. Better than you know.
What do you mean by that?
You'll find out.
I don't think I like the sound of that.
I told them not to trust him. The pills also make them forget everything that's happened recently. They won't remember the crash, coming back here, or any of the rest. They'll go on with the flight as scheduled because they don't know any better. Their bodies are 2 years older than they were and have sustained a lot of interesting scars and such that they won't be able to explain, but we won't talk about that. They'll also go through the next 2 years on the giant planet and have all those experiences, culminating with coming back here, losing their memories yet again, and repeating the whole thing until they're old and gray like me. That's also something we won't talk about. I really wish Irwin had given up on time travel stories altogether because he was pretty bad at it.
That dog wanted me to mention just one more thing to you.
Yeah, what does he want?
Just this. If all 7 of you, the entire passenger list, the crew, and that dog are not on board flight 612, it'll be disastrous.
More of that jazz about changing the past.
The flight will still crash, but this time there'll be no survivors.
Between getting killed in the crash and having to live hand to mouth on a planet of giants, it's hard to say which would be worse.
Hey, suppose none of the ships could take off.
You mean sabotage all of them?
Yeah, I know a way. Come on.
So do I. Call in a threat of some kind. Even in 1970, it could get you 20 years in prison, but it might be worth it.
We better hurry up and get this done before that cop comes back this way. Are you sure we have enough?
You don't need that much carborundum to really foul up oil.
Steve, are you certain the ground crew will spot this? Because I wouldn't want to be the cause of an accident.
Dan, oil pressure is one of the primary checks. It's got to show up.
By the time they're done, pretty much all the fuel for their plane is contaminated.
The oil supply on Shamrock has been sabotaged. They can't repair the system in time to make the flight.
What next? Say, I'd say you got a broken window over there. What happened?
What's that? Oh, good. Good. Thanks a lot.
She said Shamrock, not Spindrift. Apparently, that was the ship they were supposed to take. The good news is the Spindrift just came out of the repair shop. It's fueled up and ready to go.
What's this I hear about the ship?
It's all right, Mr. Wilson. They're readying another ship, the Spindrift. It's on its way over from Hangar C.
Hangar C. That's the repair hangar. That's why we couldn't find it.
I'll bet they can find it now. In fact, they did.
Should be easy. We'll just disconnect this main fuel line.
What?
We'll just disconnect this fuel induction line. What's the matter?
I don't know.
What's the matter is the pill is starting to work. Both pills will do their job before they can finish sabotaging the ship.
The Calcutta flight has been delayed by rocket failure. We can't count on the pilot and co-pilot after all.
Well, there goes the ball game.
Where's all my crew?
What are you doing here?
I'm reporting for work. One pilot, a co-pilot. Here's a stewardess. Where are the others?
You mean you're going to take out the flight?
Even the note Steve wrote to himself didn't accomplish anything. They take the flight, go through the anomaly, crash on the giant planet just like before, and suddenly they're back where they started 2 years later in the spot where they first met those two bungling clowns.
Yeah, I'm over here, Dan.
It's not like Steve to go wandering off by himself, but he says, I had some disturbing dreams.
You should have had my experience. I kept dreaming that I took a trip back home. Yeah. What's the matter with you?
It's funny because I had a dream right along the same lines.
Everything about the past couple of years played out exactly like it already had. So the whole trip, the whole episode was meaningless. Still, it's odd that they both had the same crazy dream about refusing to fly somebody somewhere.
I wonder. Oh well.
Dan says, let's get back to camp. Steve says, I'll just be a moment.
Miss Collier, I want to tell you for the last time, we're not going to take out that flight.
This will have to be reported to the union, of course.
Of course.
You'll also have to sign a 10-6 form.
That's a formal refusal to obey reasonable orders.
Steve just has one problem. Dreams don't leave a paper trail.
Isn't that what you're doing?
I'll sign it. There.
your records.
Thank you.
The SID finally found a legitimate charge, caught Steve, and put him in a tiny prison for several years. The charge? Littering. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please click the thumbs up. It really does help the channel. If you're not subscribed yet, the button looks something like this. So click it and join our little family. There's a bell there that may or may not actually work to give you notifications when we post something, but it can't hurt to click it just in case. Again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Irwin Allen explosions. That's just the beginning. Can follow them wherever and whenever. Steve will start. She doesn't have back up. She can't that cup.